Hello again. This morning I was chatting with an athlete that I work with, and we were talking about what gains we thought we could make over the next 10 weeks before his main event. He's just done an event, a shorter event called 361, which is 361 kilometres off-road. He's an off-road cyclist, and his main event is a 20k ultra, which is in Italy, and that's also off-road with 20,000 metres of climbing, so it's quite a substantial undertaking. Although it's not a super long event at 1,000 kilometres, it's going to take quite a while because of all the climbing and the fact that it's off-road. And I thought the best thing he could do is improve his FTP, because well, at first when I started working with bikepackers and ultra endurance cyclists and also runners, I thought, well, most of the time is going to be in the endurance zones, level 2 and level 1. And that is the case, but actually there's a substantial amount of time spent above the aerobic threshold, above level 2. And if you've looked at my other videos, you'll have seen the power profile from somebody taking part in the transatlantic way race, and you can see that they spend a lot of time above zone 2, and some time in tempo, about 2 hours and 20 minutes in tempo, 40 minutes in sweet spot, 20 minutes in the threshold zone, and actually some time above that threshold zone, 6 or 7 minutes. Okay, it's a long ride, but this is a lot of time, and therefore if you can raise that FTP, then everything gets easier, and you recover faster from going above your zone 2, and your overall speed will be faster, and that's what we're all aiming to do. So to illustrate this in a bit more detail, and have a look at the training zones. I've got the equivalent training zones on the screen here. I use the Coggan zones, but you can use any training zones. And the lactate threshold, your anaerobic threshold, your FTP, heart rate doesn't change very much. So you get fitter. By getting fitter, you just get your FTP goes up. So the power at that given threshold heart rate gets higher, but the heart rate doesn't change very much as you get fitter. It's just that power that goes up, your FTP goes up, and consequently the speed that you're going at that heart rate goes up. And also all the other speeds go up, as you can see from the chart. So you can see that the tempo zone is from 76 to 90% of your FTP, and 84 to 94% of your heart rate at FTP. As a consequence, if your FTP goes up, then your tempo speed goes up, and also your endurance speed goes up. And your overall average speed can increase because you can go faster for a given strain on your body. Your heart rate represents how hard your body's working. One thing to bear in mind here is that you can't always use heart rate to monitor how hard you're working when you're tired. So once you're getting well into an endurance event, like even towards the end of day 1, your heart rate won't be responding as it was at the start of the ride. So you can't use heart rate as a guide. You have to really use perceived exertion or power if you're using a power meter, and just sort of use all the information that you've got to adjust your pace. But what I wanted to illustrate really is that this your threshold's going up, and as a consequence your average riding speed's going up, because you're spending you're basically going faster for a given level of effort. So getting back to the athlete that I was talking about earlier, how am I going to help him improve his FTP? Well, he's got to obviously maintain his endurance fitness, but that doesn't drop off very quickly. So what we're going to do is maybe we'll include a couple of back-to-back rides, long rides, keep his long rides at the weekend. But I think what I'm going to try is squeeze in 2 threshold sessions per week. So just target specifically that FTP. So good sessions might be 5 by 5 minutes with a minute recovery at roundabout threshold, say 95 to 105% of your FTP. A similar but perhaps a bit more stressful workout is 4 by 8 minutes with 2 minutes recoveries. And use your heart rate to measure your recoveries. You should be recovering between these efforts. And if you're not, then then extend the recoveries a bit, or you're showing that you're a bit too tired to be doing higher intensity work, so you should take a bit more recovery time. The other way to go is to do higher intensity work, so around about your VO2 max sort of effort, so you're working really hard and having a similar amount of time recovery to the duration of the effort, so you're doing maybe 2 minutes to 5 minute efforts, around 3 or 4 minutes is ideal. And you have if you're doing 6 by 3 minutes, you have 3 minutes recovery, and you'll be doing those basically as hard as you can and then you take the recovery and then you do it again. If you don't completely wear yourself out in the session, then you might manage 2 of these maximal aerobic sort of VO2 max sessions or threshold sessions in a week. Whereas if you totally exhaust yourself in one, then you might be struggling to do the 2 higher intensity sessions and a longer ride that maintains your endurance within the week. So it's probably worth to going home where you think you might be able to manage one more effort in the interval session, and then you could probably do another one in a couple of days' time and still do your long rides. So that's one way to structure your week. And what I think I'll probably do with the athlete I was talking about, I'll probably try and do 2 sessions of 5 by 5 minutes with a minute recovery each week, keep his long rides going over the weekend, and see how he goes with that for a few weeks. If he's showing some improvement, we'll probably stick with it, because 8 weeks, 10 weeks, it's not enough time to make several different changes, so we'll just focus on that, improving his FTP, maintain his endurance, and see how he gets on. And one additional thing is that because this 20k ultra is really hilly, then it will make sure that he's doing his efforts on the hills, so it's quite specific. It may be we'll do it on the road, because on the road it's a good surface, so you can just focus on riding hard, but maybe mix it up a bit, so 1 session on the road or 2 sessions on the road for 1 week, and then 1 off road and 1 on the road the other week. So he's getting used to putting the power down on different surfaces as well. And of course his endurance rides and his practice rides will be off road, because that's specific to his event. And as you're getting so close to the event, then you want to be quite specific. I hope that's useful. I hope it illustrates the point that working on your FTP is really important for endurance cycling events, and gives you some ideas of what to do in the run up to your events. And if you've got any questions, let me know. If you like it, and see you in the next video. Bye.